Welcome to the 2020 Endorsement League Marketing Madness. Now, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe as I post new sports videos every Wednesday exploring the marketing side and the business side of sports. Now, without further ado, a few weeks back I asked 8 of my friends if they were the marketing director of any company that they chose, which athlete would they want to represent that company in a marketing campaign and in a commercial. So I created the endorsement draft, and if you haven't seen that video, please make sure to check it out. I'll give you guys a few minutes to go do that. Glad to have you guys back, and I hope you enjoyed the draft. Now, without further ado, let's look at the Marketing Madness bracket. Let's start with the number 1 versus the number 8 matchup of Carlos with Patrick Mahomes and ESPN versus Bronze with Lewis Hamilton and Apple. Let's hear what they came up with for their commercial pitches.
Round 1, fight!
Here we go.
I wanted to do a This is Sports Center commercial. Those are short, funny commercials. And in an effort to, stay home and promote social distancing, they would have a robot with a screen that has Patrick Mahomes' face, and he would be working from home. The robot would be making his rounds as far as security. And then he runs into an analyst like Scott Van Pelt. They just start chopping it up like, hey, how you doing? And he's all, oh, I'm just working from home, but making sure making my rounds. Out of nowhere when they're talking, you hear a little beep in the background, like a microwave, with the burrito's done. Patrick is like, oh, my burrito's done. I'll be right back. He puts up a sign. It's like a sheet that says hashtag stay home and hashtag COVID. And then it's This is Sports Center at the end of that.
I feel fantastic. I feel excited. Just don't know what to expect.
You have 2 lines being operated by 2 different DMV workers. One of them is your kind of traditional DMV worker looking pretty unhappy. There's a line of people out the door. Then you flash to the other line, who happens to be operated by Lewis Hamilton. People are just flying through the line, getting what they need to get done at light speed. That line clears out and he looks over and there's still a horde of people still being bogged, maybe represented by a PC or an Android logo above that queue. Lewis then packs up his things, leaves work early because he has nothing left to do, looks back at his frustrated coworkers and says, same time tomorrow, guys. And his coworkers look at each other in disgust, with Lewis peeling out in his beautiful F1 race car.
It looks like Carlos is bringing to life a new This is Sports Center campaign, while Bronze is really focusing on that iPhone versus Android battle and bringing it to new heights. Let's move on to the number 2 versus 7 matchup of Justin with Floyd Mayweather and Leapfrog versus Brandon with Gardner Minshew and Gillette. Let's see what they came up with for their commercials.
Round 1, fight!
The biggest in sports, you heard it. Easy work.
50 Cent once again challenging Floyd Mayweather to a reading challenge. But this time around, Floyd's a little bit more prepared. Behind his back is an arsenal of Leapfrog products and technology that he's used to make sure that he is well prepared to defeat the task of reading. Once he's able to go ahead, read that paragraph, that Harry Potter line or scripture or whatever it is, he's going to be able to dominate just like he's done in the boxing ring. Floyd Mayweather, very big philanthropist. Very big philanthropist. Greatest. Most powerful philanthropist ever. Ask anybody.
Gardner
Minshew's in the locker room pregame. Full massive beard, hasn't shaved in weeks. He gets a generic razor and begins shaving it. He shaves it down to a handlebar mustache. Then it cuts out to the game. It shows him on the field giving a guy a pile driver. And everyone in the crowd says, ooh, what is he doing? After the game, it shows him going back to the locker room, trying to figure out what he's going to do with his handlebar mustache, shaves it down to a thick 70s mustache. And then he goes into the press conference. People are, asking him what happened out there on the field. Takes the microphone and says, I'm Gardner Minshew. After the press conference is over, he leaves. One of his teammates gives him a Gillette and says, stick to the original.
It looks like Justin is showcasing Mayweather finally conquering that reading challenge, while Brandon is really focusing on how influential facial hair can be. Let's move on to the 3 versus 6 matchup of Jake with LeBron James and Amazon versus Steven with Steph Curry and Pet Food Express. Let's see what they came up with for their commercials.
Round 1, fight!
This is everything that we worked for all season long. All the sacrifices we made to each other, dog. Due to the suspension of the NBA season, LeBron James subs in for Amazon's Alexa to take control of your small business and your home. Imagine LeBron James taking the place of Alexa. A business owner is creating their logistics for the day and they have to reschedule delivery. Instead of calling for Alexa, they would call for LeBron James, who is at the Amazon call center ready to take a call and to help them with whatever task that needs to get done. Then it cuts to a family at home with tired parents and kids waiting for their bedtime story. The mom and dad say, "Hey LBJ, tell the story of the three little pigs." And you can imagine LeBron in a dream bubble holding the book in a Lakers jersey reading this bedtime story to their kids.
Look at Curry, man, just trying to do great things in the world, you know what I'm saying?
Steph Curry and his dog are going to play basketball. And before they start playing, Steph Curry tells his dog, "Same mistakes as last time." Dog looks at him, nods, yeah. And so they show clips of Steph Curry hitting shots, and the dog hitting the same shots as well. And at the end, the dog hits the game-winning shot. Steph Curry looks at his dog, says, "All right, you win. Let's go to Pet Food Express." So they show Curry and his dog walking into Pet Food Express, Curry washing his dog in the back, and then the dog grabbing his treat, walking out the store with his own jersey, Warriors jersey, saying Furry in the back, saying number 30, and walking out the store.
It looks like Jake is giving LeBron James a brand new career path while the NBA is not playing games, while Steven's really focusing on how Steph is taking his pet's nutrition and hygiene to the next level. Our final matchup is number 4 Daniel with Mike Trout and Ford versus number 5 Zach and the Anxiety and Depression Association of America.
Round 1, fight!
They know when I'm locked in, I feel like I can hit anything, any pitch at any time.
We have father-son fishing, and they're in a beautiful stream countryside. Son pulls out a giant trout that he's just caught, and he says, "Dad, that's the biggest trout I've ever seen." Mike Trout pours in, turns into the countryside, right to the river, in a giant F-150, Angels red, and says, "I got you covered." Part 2, kids playing at home, playing a video game, playing Animal Crossing, and he's fishing in the game. He catches a big fish. He says, "Oh my God, I caught a trout." Now within the game, virtual Mike Trout, driving the Ford Fusion electric motor vehicle, pours in, says, "Kid, I got you covered." Ford is built for trout.
Now we just gonna go out there. Whoever we're playing against, it don't even matter. We're gonna go out there and give it our best.
So it starts with DeMar DeRozan opening a scene for a lot of high schoolers come to a classroom. And then it pans over the shoulder of one high schooler to him jotting in a notebook about how he's been feeling with depression, anxiety, feeling alone, things of that nature. He closes his notebook, pans open to all the other high schoolers in the room, doing the same thing, jotting in the notebook and closing it. The camera gets pointed on DeMar, who's explaining his journey through growing up as a high schooler in the hood, trying to get through the rough neighborhoods and excel to where he wanted to be. It ends with a black screen saying #not in alone.
It looks like Daniel is looking to make the most of that Ford branding and that Trout name, while Zach is really focusing on viewers that have had depression and letting them know they're not in it alone. Alright, now the bracket's been set, the pitches have been made, now it's your chance to pick a winner. Make sure to follow my Instagram account at boris.hope. The voting will be exclusively on this account's Instagram stories. Round 1 will be held Thursday, April 23rd from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Round 2 will be held Friday, April 24th, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the final round will be held Saturday, April 25th, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Winner will receive a Funko Pop figure of their favorite athlete. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Make sure to vote on my Instagram stories, and I'll see you next week with a new sports business topic.